Hello, dear viewer. You look beautiful today. Line was so good I used it twice. I asked my dearest viewers to send me the most beautiful songs they've ever heard, and today I'm going to rank them on this tier list here based on how beautiful I think they are. Before we hop into the meat and potatoes here, I'd like to alert you of something incredibly pressing, an incredibly pressing matter, if you would. I'm going to start streaming on Twitch more. Not really sure what I'm going to do, but if you think I'm kind of funny sometimes, maybe check it out. Link in the description. Now, without further ado, let's hop in. Raider Seraph says, House Carpenter by Hurt. Touching and heartbreaking piece about the devil coming home to discover his wife remarried. You would think this would be a comedic piece with a premise like that, but the strings, the audio of pouring rain that bookends this track, and especially the gravity well of J. Lauren Wince's vocals absolutely sell the tragedy of this song. Google seems to suggest this is a track aging back to the 17th century. In fact, covered by Bob Dylan in the 60s and apparently these Hurt fellas in the early 2000s. I gave both a listen. I'm going to have to give the edge to Mr. Dylan, but this brings a new level of intensity to the track, I suppose, and I'm not sure how really beautiful this is, per se. It's got some very grand production, for sure, but it almost sounds a little overproduced to me. I'm firmly placed on the ground. Let me see your beauty when the witness... Henry Lowenthal 1497 says, Dance Me to the End of Love by Leonard Cohen. Being Jewish and having a lot of family killed at the hands of Redacted during this time makes it hit even harder. The lore behind the song makes it even more incredible, being so strong at a time where they want to make you weak. I pride myself in my honesty, dear viewer. And just listening to this song truthfully, I felt like that young boy Charles in the Chocolate Factory. Had a very whimsical sound to it, instrumentally at the very least. Mr. Cohen comes in with a second vocalist, delivers a pretty sweet track, I think. I don't know how beautiful I really found it, but this is some solid stuff. I'm still firmly on the ground. I'm gonna go at the back of the tier. Alazar Biru BTW says Beautiful by Christina Aguilera. This is some pretty solid pop from the early 2000s right here. Super iconic, sure. I didn't remember it off the dome, but once I heard it, I knew it right away kind of thing. Lyrically pretty sweet and optimistic, sonically kind of super 2000s pop coded for sure, in both a good and bad way, I think. I'm still on the ground, top of the tier. Golf 9813 says Piano Concerto No. 2 by Sergei Rachmaninoff. Best I could do. A classic, but also a genuinely heart-melting display of Russian romanticism. Also, classical music doesn't get much representation here. So this was 30 minutes long, and quite frankly, in the wise words of Sabo, I'm not reading all that. What I did hear, though, was incredibly grand and some by-the-books beauty, to be honest. I'm not too familiar with classical as a whole. I don't really know how this stacks up against the Mozarts of the world, but this is some pretty stuff. So much to enjoy here. Every note feels deliberate and planned. This is some magical stuff. Now I'm floating. Marino's 1409 says Lovesong by The Cure. I hate it and I hope it explodes, but also it's the greatest shit ever. Never have I ever heard love truly so kind of flawlessly portrayed in a song like this. Minus maybe Just Like Heaven by the same motherfuckers. Damn you, Robert Smith. This is absolutely haunting, but fuck is it beautiful. Top of floating from me. The Quark 414 says Limousine by Brand New. First question we must answer is, do we separate the artist from the artist? Jesse Lacey of Brand New, criminal, I'm afraid. Terrible person. -1 point. As for the song, honestly, it's pretty good. Like a slightly slower version of a My Chemical Romance track. Super emo-coded, lyrically some fairly dark stuff. This is a banger, but I'm not really sure how beautiful I'd call it. I'm firmly placed on the ground, and with the redacted tax, I'm going to go with a what? Taco 487 says Sleep by Godspeed You Black Emperor. Who knew that using screwdrivers on a guitar could make the most beautiful song ever? I say the word beautiful, someone feels the deliberate need to say the word Sleep by Godspeed You Black Emperor. Can I blame them? I cannot. It's just going to win every time, I think. Ridiculously larger than life song, so much going on, so beautifully performed and written and executed. It's the GOAT for a reason, but I've talked about it 600 times. Top of floating from me. Miracle 9170 says All in Love is Fair by Stevie Wonder. When beautiful is the word, Stevie Wonder is a safe name to rely on. Guy's always just dropping some absolute poetry on a young man like myself, and sonically, it doesn't get much better than Inner Visions. Beautiful piano throughout the track, some sensational vocals, and a genuinely heartwarming listen. I'm gonna go floating behind Sleep. Oliver Southall says the predatory wasp of the Palisades is out to get us by Sufjan Stevens. Another incredibly safe name to go with when beauty is on the mind. This Sufjan Stevens fella knows a thing or two about this whole music shindig. Incredibly soft vocals and this beautiful little acoustic riff to back it up, not to mention some of the vocal harmonies, not to mention the progression of the song. It feels like an entire experience in just 5 short minutes. The way this was able to paint a picture so vivid, kind of in such a short time, relative to other music, is some magical shit once again. Back of Floating. Ivan Show 2972 says Entombed by Deftones. The song has a really special place in my heart and a really deep meaning, at least for me. One of Chino's most beautiful performances. The entire Koinyokan album is truly what separates Deftones from a lot of other bands. It just really well displays their range. Their ability to do more than just scream at me about some high school or something. I'm not really sure what Pony was about. But this album, and more specifically this song, captured love in this incredibly raw and powerful way, I think. Really beautiful stuff. Incredible guitar work and Chino at the top of his game. I'm going to say Floating, above Illinois. Zonia 2535 says Summer's Gone by Honey Dip. This right here is some outright gorgeous shoegaze. Almost My Bloody Valentine coded, and by almost, I mean in a fairly precise way. The guitar is super captivating here though, and unlike Loveless, it sounds like the vocalist actually wants to be here. Really pretty though. Not sure about the lyricism, of course. I still don't speak Japanese. We're getting there. We're not getting anywhere. But a lot of the guitar here paints a pretty beautiful picture in my mind. Back of Floating from me. Cyborg4234 says Undenied by Portishead. Not sure beauty is the right word here. It'd be hard to argue the vocals here aren't beautiful, but the instrumentation here paints this kind of eerie picture in my mind rather than a beautiful one. And even the vocals kind of paint that picture in a strange way. On their own, I think the vocals are beautiful, like I said, but in conjunction with the production here, it just gives me the shiver, something like that. Light levitation from me. Pedro Silva says The Place Where He Inserted the Blade by Black Country New Road. Not entirely sure if it makes me feel hope or dread, but it is beautiful. That's dread, Pedro. Dread for sure. Not much hope going on here, but this is certainly some beautiful shit. Just the instrumentation here is so grand. The horns, the piano, the guitar work. It's just pretty. The vocals here always have been a strange part of their music in my mind, and a lot of other people's minds, as he has a very strange vocal delivery, Isaac Wood, but it brings this layer of authenticity to everything he does. It makes every song so vulnerable and personal. I'm floating here, behind Illinois. Gino or Jen says Lovesick by Nujabes. Not only does the beat have a nostalgic, dreamy sound to it, which makes you reminisce on the past, but Shingo too has a fantastic performance. Not to mention his accent making it feel almost alien, like this song is beyond this world. I don't think you can say he sounds like an alien, man, just for future reference. As for the song, I love it to death. One of the greatest producers of all time, absolutely in his bag on this track, and Shingo 2 does deliver some relatively all-timer verses. It's peak, but that's not the question. I'm not sure how beautiful I find it. It's got a beautiful nature to it, I suppose, but a lot of the other tracks off of the Hexology, I think, are a little more beautiful in my mind. I'm going to say top of Slight Levitation. Jackson Clift says Watching TV by Magdalena Bay, the greatest song of all time. I don't think I'm going quite that far, to be honest. A lot of goats out there, but this is certainly some unique shit, I'll give it that. Really light and dreamlike vocals, to be honest, kind of Elizabeth Fraser core, if that helps you in some way. With much lighter instrumentation than you typically get out of the Cocteau Twins. There's a lot to like here, to be honest. This is pretty fantastic. I'm floating here, back of the tier. Mal JJ1225 says Nude by Radiohead. You can pick any song from In Rainbows to fit this description, but this makes me float every time I listen to it. I'd agree this is probably the most beautiful shit off of In Rainbows, this or Reckoner perhaps, but it's the flow of this track that just feels kind of unreal to me. It's very light, but masterfully produced to still kind of feel full. It's just this beautiful glimpse into the creative genius that is this Tom York fella. Floating for sure, behind Sleep. I Know a Guy 23 says Half the World Away by Aurora. Jesus Christ Almighty. This is some pretty stuff for sure. Very minimalist instrumentation here, but the vocals just kind of create this beautiful environment, I guess. Not too much to say here, to be honest, for me. It's pretty, but my life is still the same. I say Slight Levitation behind Lovesick. Tinka69 says, Is It Really You by Loathe. Don't really know how to put this, but this song is etherical. I also didn't want to just submit Duck Kim in for the 4th time, even though that's my real answer. If you thought he made up the word etherical in that last sentence, you and I are the same, dear viewer. Apparently it's just ethereal in a new font. Now, the way I describe this track is converge if they were a little less upset about whatever they're so upset about. Still got that pretty incredible instrumentation to it, but vocally this is far up more my alley, far more accessible to the average Joe as well for sure. This is good stuff. I really like the acoustic conclusion of this. It gives this song a very complete vibe. I had fun. Say slight levitation above Portishead. Void Step says, I Talk to the Wind by King Crimson. The lyrics are utterly hypnotic, describing a sense, societal, divine isolation, ironically a universal feeling. Instrumentals itself are a beautiful blend of folk and jazz. The song feels like numbness dancing in the wind. This is a classic, and I think a major reason In the Court is as loved as it is. King Crimson can nail the fuck out of a prog rock masterpiece, this we know. But it's songs like this that take a backseat to the prog and just deliver this kind of heartfelt, slower track. Just shows how ludicrously deep their bag is. Incredible lyricism, like you mentioned, incredibly produced, incredible instrumentation. It's peak. I'm gonna say Floating, behind Stevie. The Small Man says PPP by Beach House. The slide guitar at the end threatens to bring me to tears every time I listen. Pretty beautiful stuff right here. I can't say it's the prettiest song I've heard from Beach House. A lot of their tracks I find to be absolutely filled to the fucking brim. This track left a little more to the imagination. Not even in a bad way, just kind of in a different one. Still got borderline angelic vocals, and the production is absolutely still there. But I've definitely heard more beautiful stuff from these fellas, I think. I'm going to say top of Slight Levitation. Poppy Crisp says Tears of the Star by Cassiopeia. I feel like I'm at a tropical beach watching the sunset with rainbows and dolphins in the distance when this comes on my shuffle, if you catch my drift. I read your comment and couldn't have possibly conceived of catching your drift, and then I heard the song. He actually hit the nail on the fucking head. This sounds like life, Were You That Leprechaun from the Lucky Charms commercials. I can't do it any more justice than that. I'm floating for shore, above Deftones. Banana King #1 says Heroes by David Bowie. No, it's a very basic pick, but I don't care. The instrumental is beautiful and the lyrics are touching. There's also a German version of the song that Bowie actually made himself that is worth checking out. I'm unfamiliar with the German version, I must admit, but I imagine a lot of the charm would be lost on me as a non-German speaker. Luckily, I'm no hater of the original. All-time classic track, incredibly potent lyricism, perhaps Bowie's peak lyrically, and some sensational music all around it. It's just another very complete track and a beautiful one for sure. But another track I'd probably say is incredible before beautiful. I don't really know what that means. I'm going to say Slight Levitation above Lovesick. Jose Jimenez 2288 says Sunrain by Ashra. Ashra? I don't know. Just the atmospheric soundscapes it creates and the way the keyboards at 237 steal the show. It's simply beautiful for a 1977 electronic song. This is very solid stuff, I'd say. Even more solid in the context of its release date for sure. But coming into this with relatively fresh eyes and ears, I gotta say my socks are on my feet. Got a great vibe to it. It kind of reminds me of that Cassiopeia track we just talked about. Just the sheer whimsy kind of captured here. But honestly, it feels a little barren to me. I don't know. I'd say Slight Levitation behind Lovesick. Aaron MWW says Jar of Cardinals by Guided by Voices. Super short and simple, but it blows me away every time. I can't say I'm sold here, to be honest. It was a very short track and enjoyable, I suppose. But quite honestly, this went kind of in one ear and out the other. Nothing too captivating here. Just felt very standard to me. I'm going to say top of what? My body turns and yearns for... Amick Yoan says Lover You Should Have Come Over by Jeff Buckley. In addition to being beautifully constructed, Jeff Buckley absolutely kills it with his vocal performance. I've been a singer for years and I'm still amazed by him to this day. For sure a go-to dancer right here. Really almost all of Grace fits the bill for sure. Some songs perhaps better, the beautiful bill. But this is the track everybody knows and the one you'll probably cry to with a bottle of tequila on a warm summer night. It's lyrically potent, it's got Jeff Buckley on the microphone, it's constructed beautifully like you said. It's a masterpiece. Kind of appreciated as such in the Big 26. Floating. Behind Sufjan Stevens. Shiva Knight says Ghost Bridge by Susumu Hirasawa. When I was younger, I heard our boy Tom talk about Skin Makes Me Cry, and I thought it was so dumb to cry at something that's beautiful. But fuck, does Hirasawa prove me wrong. Yeah, man, this is a tearjerker in a very strange way. His voice alone just creates this almost kind of unreal beauty in my mind. The production just aids it perfectly. It makes the entire track sound so kind of full, and it's so sparse with the vocals. Some of the vocal harmonies as well are just genuinely angelic. As far as beauty goes, it doesn't get much better than this. Going above old Stevie in the floating tier. Solomon McGuire says Bloodhail by Have a Nice Life. I describe this song as beautiful, but I can't say it's the crying type of beautiful. In a weird way, I feel kind of emotionless when I listen to this song, but I still think that speaks to how good it is. Interesting take on the song, I think. I'm not sure I'd agree, but this entire album does kind of center around emotionlessness, I suppose. The song is certainly fantastic, and I like it a lot. Absolutely incredible guitar work here, produced damn well, and the vocals and lyrics are on point. Just not a track I think I'd call beautiful. I'd lean a little more into dark myself. There's undeniably some beauty in the closing segment of this song. It's peak stuff. I'm going to say Slight Levitation behind Bowie. Junior, I don't know, bunch of letters says So Many People in the Neighborhood by Ween. It's a certified Ween boy classic. I feel the tears run down my thigh. I don't think you understand. Zephyr Typhoon 2083 says Beauty and Falling Leaves by YOB. About the singer's appreciation of life after a close call with death, and I think few songs I've heard in the doom genre get close to matching its beauty. Brings me to tears almost every time I listen to it. Vocally, this track is giving me damn near Dave Mustaine vibes, but everything else I enjoyed quite a bit. From the structure, I really enjoyed the build-up to this very grand eruption of noise. It's certainly one of the most unique tracks I've heard within the doom genre, absolutely. Is it beautiful? I think at moments it is. I think at other moments I'm driving my car into the highway divider. A Slight Levitation behind Lovesick. Kevin the Lord 5343 says Forever Close My Eyes by Dalek. Too beautiful, especially the last verse. I don't know. It's the first track I've heard off this project, and sonically it's super interesting. But in a genre like rap, I feel like you kind of gotta have a good flow. I just can't really figure out this guy's flow. Musically, this is some incredibly unique hip-hop, however. I've genuinely never heard anything like this. As far as the beauty, again, I'm not really sure. The ending sequence is certainly incredible. Lyrically, it sounds very vulnerable and human. That I appreciate, but sonically, there's just so much going on here that I think I'm more captivated than I am floating. I hope this made sense. Slight Levitation above Portishead. H Restarted 2025 says, Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder. Quite honestly, it's impossible to conclude listening to this song without a wide, toothy grin. Give it a shot, I'm telling you, man. The vibes here are simply too good. The harmonica, the lyricism, the vocals, the weird crying baby, they all come together and just culminate in what I can truly only describe as a happy sandwich. You can write that down if you want. Floating behind Sleep. Aphex Twinning 143 says Cannock Chase by Labi Cifre. I did what I could. The composition is damn beautiful, especially with its shades of reminded darkness. The lyrics and imagery are simple yet striking. Tale of a man not only finding himself, but also his way out of the ditch. Brings tears to my eyes every time. Hope and redemption have never sounded better. Yeah, this is some pretty sweet shit right here. I listened to it twice and still can't wrap my head around the lyricism, I don't think. But it absolutely has the beautiful sound to it. The guitar work perhaps most obviously, but even in the vocals themselves, they're delivered with such authenticity, it feels. They have this nostalgic sound to them that I can't really explain. Sounds like a piece of music history to a guy like me, floating behind Black Country New Road. Tool is Tough says Jimmy by Tool. Amazing lyrical storytelling, and the entire band's instrumentation is essentially perfect. The outro from 356 might be my favorite section of a song ever. Also, the transition from intermission into the riff hits so hard. I don't know. Never been too high on this track, to be honest. Always been one of my less played tracks off of Enema. I just don't really find it as unique or as sonically interesting as the rest of the album, even if it makes up for it with some incredible lyricism. I do enjoy the outro segment, but this isn't really a track I'd call beautiful again. A little too heavy, a little too metal, perhaps. Top of firmly placed on the ground. Apollo IAG says How to Disappear Completely by Radiohead. Every second of that song is the most beautiful agony I've ever heard. Yeah, this is a contender for sure. The orchestral work on this track is just unreal. The scale, the progression, the everything. It's so beautiful. Lyrically, my God, the lyrics, just incredible. Such a unique angle and anxiety and kind of fear. It's in a league of its own. They don't make shit like this anymore. Top of floating from me. Leo Paquer says Serenade of Water, live by Men I Trust. Seeing these guys live was probably the greatest musical experience of my life. This song especially got me completely overwhelmed by the sheer beauty of every aspect of their music. Definitely in my top 5 favorite bands ever. I mean, I'm just not going that far, I don't think. Maybe if I saw it live, my opinion would change here. Not to say I didn't enjoy this. It's pretty damn good. Giving me kind of Nujabe's vibes sonically here. These are vibes I enjoy, as opposed to Shingo 2 spitting some shit at me. These far lighter vocals, which I think do lend themselves pretty well to this track. It's pretty damn beautiful. I'm going to say behind Black Country New Road in the floating tier. SidBees4924 says Move by Psychedelic Corn Crumpets. I have a pretty significant anxiety OCD that's especially bad when I'm driving. The song and a lot of other stuff on the High Visceral albums is so entrancing to me that I don't feel as likely to panic anymore. I can't say I shared your experience, to be honest. In fact, I'm far more stressed out than I was when I started. Is this good? Kinda. Maybe, I think. Sonically, it's kind of overwhelming to me, to be honest. Very jam-packed, but almost overflowing here. Vocally, I'm a shoulder shrug at best. Is this a good time? I think it is. Is it particularly beautiful? I don't know. Firmly placed on the ground, behind Christina Aguilera. David Jimenez, 6717, says Famous Prophet Stars by Car Seat Headrest. Probably one of the best songs of all time. I can agree there, I think. Absolutely legendary track in my young and hip eyes. Lyrically just so raw and almost visceral. And sonically, I mean, this is just genuinely just some of the sickest shit I've ever heard. One of my favorite moments in music, period, on this track, that whole ocean grave sequence thing, is genuinely unreal. Kind of a chilling moment, and undeniably a beautiful one. And it gets even more beautiful as the song concludes on this strange kind of glimmer of hope. It's peak, man. Floating. Behind in Rainbows. Tommy Giordano 5654 says Pendulu HV Moda by Autekre. Probably the most underrated song I know of. The song sounds like a gargantuan living organism, indescribably beautiful and devastating. Maybe this is one of the things I'm too dumb to understand. I don't really have any words. I have no idea what the fuck this was, what it was attempting to do, or even really what it did. I think this is what death grip sounds like to old people. I don't understand, I don't get it, and I'm left incredibly confused. Therefore, I will pivot the confusion onto you. I don't think you understood. Gonna try Northwest Rain 2399 says Heroin by the Velvet Underground. I'm kind of on the fence here, again, to be honest. It's sonically pretty sweet, I think. The production is very light and creates this fairly beautiful atmosphere, I suppose. I'm just not sure the vocals really match that vibe all that well. That and the lyricism, to be honest. I've really been crazy high on the banana, so maybe I'm just a hater here, but my socks are still on. I'm going to say slight levitation above Portishead. 105 Flight Attendant says I Appear Missing by Queens of the Stone Age. Another all-timer right here. Flat out their best song ever, if that means something to you. Sonically just almost legendary, I'd say. Lyrically pretty potent, vocally solid stuff. Just how complete this song feels. It feels like it's so much longer than its 6-minute runtime. Some of the guitar work here is just absolutely legendary as well. Such a great song. How beautiful is it, you ask? Pretty damn beautiful lyrically, I think. Tackles desensitization, I believe. Not something you hear a lot of people talk about in a really cool and meaningful way, while also creating this grand kind of musical experience. I'm going to say above Jeff Buckley in the floating tier. Deep Penis in 84 says The Day of Night off of the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack. Just an absolutely mesmerizing ambient track, short but sweet. Pretty solid stuff. I can't say I've played the game, so I imagine this hits a bit harder with some context, but this is a very soothing and calming ambient track. It's good stuff. Nothing too out of this world for me, but again, I've got no context. Slight levitation above the banana. Ashnor Crouton says Snow Globes by Black Country New Road. Really underrated song, I think. Usually when cats talk about this album, it's about the place where he inserted the blade or basketball shoes. But this track is at the very least close to that level, I'd say. This whole album has this surreal beauty to it, like I mentioned. This track's no different than those. Some excellent progression, 9 minutes to feel like 5, I'd say. Just a masterfully put together song. As far as beauty goes, doesn't get too much better. Instrumentally, this might be the most beautiful shit heard on Ants from Up There. That doesn't sound like a crazy thing to me. Big stuff. Let's say floating above Jeff Buckley. That's all I've got here. Thank you very much for watching. Follow me on Twitch, maybe, only if you feel like it. No pressure. Don't do it if you don't want to, but do it if you do. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.